We've now got a great idea of how to fetch data and get it to appear on the screen. Like I said in the last video, from here on out, we're essentially going to be doing the same thing in a pretty repetitious fashion. So now we can start thinking about how to actually get information to show up on the screen, and we could spend some time on styling and all that kind of good stuff. As a quick reminder, right now we are working on a component that should eventually look like this right here. So I want to show a nicely formatted list of all of our campaigns. I should see a button on the right-hand side where we can create a campaign and all that kind of good stuff. Now you and I could definitely spend a lot of time working on CSS and making this look good, but rather than wasting any time on that, I think that we should probably use a component kit to help us out with the styling. We're going to use a React component kit called Semantic UI React. This is a library that comes with a bunch of pre-created components that we can very easily get access to and use inside of our application. The benefit of all these components is that they come with styling already placed on them. So you and I won't have to do a bunch of CSS work to get our application looking really good. And trust me, the final product is going to look really cool. So we're going to install Semantic UI React inside this section, and then we will get a good sense of exactly how to actually use it inside of our project. Now, I know I've said in the last couple of videos, like, yeah, so many technologies. And so you're probably sitting there now thinking, what, you're going to add another technology? That doesn't make any sense. Well, trust me, this time around, it definitely makes a lot of sense here. Semantic UI is such an excellent project. It's going to really make our project look awesome without a lot of additional work from us. So let's flip over to our terminal. We're going to install Semantic UI. I'm going to go to the tab that is running our server right now. I'm going to stop that server by pressing Control-C. Then we can install Semantic UI React by running the command. And let me get the exact package name here. All right, we want npm install -- save Semantic UI React, like so. So Semantic UI React, all separated with dashes. All right, while that's installing, let's go and look at some of the documentation around this package so you can get a really good idea of how it works. It's a really great package, and I suspect you will probably eventually want to use it on your own personal projects. So in a new tab, I'm going to search for Semantic UI React. And we'll give it just a second to load up here. Here we go. So I'm going to find the first result here, which should be at react.semanticui.com. So this is the documentation for the project. All right, come on, let's go. There we go. All right, so on the documentation, we get great examples of all the different components that are available to us. So on the left-hand nav over here, you'll see a listing of all the prefabricated components that we can make use of. Let's take a look at, for example, maybe the button element. Start nice and simple. When we look at button, you'll see a list of all the possible properties that we can pass to a button component, as defined by the Semantic UI React package. So this is all the different properties we get access to. And in total, it's pretty much covering the entire field of how you ever might want to be customizing a button. A little bit underneath that, you'll then start to see some examples of the button component. So here's an example of the button that we get for free from Semantic UI React. This is the most basic button that we can possibly create. I think you'll agree with me that, yeah, it looks pretty reasonable, right? I think it's going to work really well for our project. If you keep on scrolling, you'll see a lot of other examples inside of here of how that button can be customized. So all the stuff that you see in here, you can easily do with Semantic UI React. All the stuff that we're scrolling through. To get a good idea of how any of these examples can be written out, you can hover over the example. Let's go back up to the top one right here. So I can hover over the example and you'll see these buttons on the top right appear. If you click on Edit Code, it'll pop up a little editor and it will give you a very simple demonstration of how to create exactly this component right here. So to create a button, we're going to import button from Semantic UI React, and then we can use that as a component, just like you see right here. And so if we want to, we could even customize the text. We could say, I don't know, please click me. And it customizes it right there. So yes, Semantic UI React, it's totally awesome. It's a great project. It's going to really improve what we are doing here. We can see other examples over here on the right-hand side. I think our project is going to eventually make use of, I believe, table. So we can take a look at, say, table, and it will give us an example of a table component. And just as before, you can click on the little code button and it will give you a great sample of exactly how to get exactly that content right there. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of a better idea of how Semantic UI works. Let's take a pause right here. We're gonna make sure that everything installed successfully. It looked like it did. So let's continue in the next video, and we're going to put that package to use inside of our campaign index file. So I'll see you in just a minute.